The Earth is running a fever and the symptoms are becoming impossible to ignore. Recent data confirms a stark reality. The decade spanning 2015 to 2024 stands as the warmest period ever documented in human history. Each year within this period seemed to compete with the last for unwelcome temperature records. The consistent upward trajectory of global average temperatures paints a clear picture of a planet struggling under the weight of accumulating greenhouse gases. This sustained heat has not just been a matter of numbers on a chart, it has translated into tangible and often devastating consequences across the globe. The culmination of this warming trend was the year 2024, which officially earned the grim title of the hottest year on record. Global average temperatures in 2024 soared to approximately 1.55 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. This threshold is particularly significant because it marks the first full calendar year that humanity has experienced warming exceeding the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit. Crossing this line, even for a single year, is a sobering milestone. The implications of this are far-reaching and deeply concerning for the stability of our planet. The message is clear: our planet is sending distress signals. The record-breaking heat of the past decade is not an endpoint, but a disturbing prelude to an even warmer future. Climate models for the next 5 years, from 2025 to 2029, paint a concerning picture of continued and intensified warming. Experts suggest that the respite many hope for is unlikely to materialize. There is an 80% probability that at least 1 year within this period will surpass the record set in 2024. Furthermore, there is a 70% chance that the 5-year average global temperature will exceed the critical 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold. An even more striking figure is the 86% chance that at least one of the next 5 years will record an annual average temperature more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above the baseline. The consistency across these assessments highlights the scientific consensus on the near-term trajectory of global heating. The window for avoiding even more dangerous levels of warming is rapidly closing. The scientific community is issuing increasingly urgent warnings. Barrett of the World Meteorological Organization has stated unequivocally that there is no sign of respite over the coming years. This reflects the overwhelming evidence pointing towards continued global warming and its associated impacts. Barrett emphasized that this relentless warming will lead to a growing negative impact on our economies, our daily lives, our ecosystems, and our planet. Professor Adam Scaife from the UK's Met Office noted that years exceeding the 1.5 degrees Celsius warming threshold are becoming commonplace. This signifies a shift from occasional extreme years to a new normal where such high temperatures are expected. The trajectory we're on is at the upper end of what we projected years ago. These expert pronouncements are based on rigorous analysis of observational data and sophisticated climate models. The scientific consensus on the reality of human-caused climate change and its escalating risks is overwhelming. The planet is on a dangerous path, and the window for effective action is narrowing. Ignoring these expert alarms would be to gamble with the stability of the global climate system and the well-being of future generations. One of the most visible consequences of a rapidly warming planet is the intensification of extreme weather events. Continued global heating will inevitably lead to more harmful heat waves, severe rainfall, and prolonged droughts. As average global temperatures rise, the atmosphere can hold more moisture, leading to heavier downpours and increased flood risk. Simultaneously, other areas experience altered precipitation patterns, resulting in extended dry periods and a greater likelihood of devastating droughts and wildfires. Heat waves are becoming more frequent, lasting longer, and reaching higher temperatures. The relentless increase in these varied forms of extreme weather serves as a constant reminder that the climate crisis is not a distant threat, but a present and escalating danger. The Earth's cryosphere is acutely sensitive to rising global temperatures, and the changes observed here are among the most dramatic indicators of climate change. The warming ocean has led to global sea ice melting at a faster than normal rate. Both Antarctic and Arctic sea ice extents have plummeted to some of the lowest levels on record. This loss has profound implications for global climate patterns, ocean circulation, and ecosystems. Data from 2024 confirmed that global mean sea levels reached their highest point since records began. This rise is due to the thermal expansion of seawater and the addition of water from melting glaciers and ice sheets. The Greenland and Antarctic ice sheets are losing mass at an alarming rate, contributing significantly to the swelling oceans. Even if the Paris Agreement goals are met, sea levels could still rise by as much as 1.2 meters by 2300. Coastal cities are already feeling the effects, with increased frequency of coastal flooding, saltwater intrusion, and erosion of shorelines. The melting frontiers and swelling seas are tangible threats reshaping coastlines and challenging the viability of human settlements. The primary driver behind the escalating climate crisis is the relentless increase in atmospheric concentrations of greenhouse gases, particularly carbon dioxide. In 2024, global CO2 concentration reached a staggering 420 parts per million. This level represents the highest concentration of this heat-trapping gas in the Earth's atmosphere for at least 800,000 years. The increase from 2022 to 2024 alone was 2.3 parts per million. This thickening blanket of greenhouse gases traps more of the sun's energy, leading directly to the observed warming of the planet. Over 90% of this trapped heat is absorbed by the world's oceans. In 2024, ocean heat content reached the highest levels in 65 years. The warming of the oceans contributes to sea level rise, fuels more powerful marine heat waves, and creates hypoxic zones. The continued burning of fossil fuels remains the dominant source of these CO2 emissions. In 2015, nations of the world came together to sign the Paris Agreement, aiming to keep global temperature rise well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Despite widespread adoption, the Earth is edging ever closer to these critical temperature thresholds. 2024 saw the global average temperature reach 1.55 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Warming beyond 1.5 degrees significantly increases the risk of unleashing far more severe and potentially irreversible climate impacts. These include more extreme weather, greater sea level rise, widespread species extinction, and the potential crossing of critical tipping points. The closer the planet gets to sustained warming of 1.5 degrees and beyond, the higher the probability of triggering devastating tipping points. Current global efforts and emissions reduction pledges are insufficient to meet the Paris Agreement's most ambitious goals. The Paris Agreement provides a framework, but its success hinges on a dramatic increase in ambition and rapid acceleration of action. Despite the clear scientific consensus on climate change, global efforts to curb the crisis have been insufficient. A primary factor remains the world's reliance on fossil fuels. Coal, oil, and natural gas continue to dominate the global energy mix. The burning of these fuels releases enormous quantities of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. While renewable energy sources have grown, this expansion has not yet displaced fossil fuels at the required scale. The overall picture is one of faltering global efforts, where the pace and scale of action are not yet commensurate with the urgency of the climate crisis. The evidence is overwhelming. Climate change is an escalating crisis unfolding before our eyes. The last decade, the warmest on record, and the dire predictions for the coming 5 years serve as a stark testament to the Earth's rapidly deteriorating condition. Scientists have repeatedly warned of the severe consequences if this warming trend continues unchecked. We are perilously close to critical tipping points, beyond which the planet could experience catastrophic and irreversible changes. The current trajectory points towards a future that is significantly hotter and more hostile. The Paris Agreement provided a framework, but the global response has fallen far short of what is required. The ineffective efforts to curb emissions mean that we are rapidly losing precious time to avert the worst outcomes. The need for immediate, decisive, and transformative action cannot be overstated. Every fraction of a degree of warming avoided matters. We are truly at